All right, headed to the high point of Columbia County right now, and I'm joined by a bunch of friends. So we got a whole caravan heading here. We're actually in Luzerne County right now, in Ricketts Glen State Park, and we're hiking pretty much due west, and then we will be at the very, very corner of Columbia County, and check back in when we get there. Got about an inch of snow this morning. Introduce you to the group. We have Sylva. Just getting y'all going by. I'm showing the caravan. There's Sylva again.
Good morning. How many have you done so far?
All right, here we go. I think we got the actual cornerstone between Luzerne County and Columbia County and Sullivan County. Are we? This is the triple whammy all coming together. Which probably means that this oak I'm about to pick is about 10 feet in Luzerne County, but this side is marked private property. So rather than push our luck and trespass, we'll do this beautiful red oak. Oh. All right, here we go. Highest point in Columbia County. You can take turns with this, but what'll speed it up is if you just gently pull on that so that I don't have to pull the slack. Like right now, see that? Oh, that's nice. Oh, that's a game changer. And now let's stop, and I always like to inspect my gear. New rope, no hazards. All right, here we go. Wow, this is a cool forest. A lot of laurel. And soon, Cat, you won't even have to do it. The weight of the rope might pull it. I'm glad we didn't do that limb. This is a good spot. Good dog. Oh, of course, now we get wind up here. I'll get some pictures of you guys. Bella, look up. That's a good one. I gotta get a selfie, don't I? Where's the tower? Over there. All right. I'll be down in a second, and then any students that want to come up as high or not as high as you want. Okay, at the highest point in Columbia County. What's interesting about this site is, so behind me is actually Luzerne County, and I'd say it's about 15 to 20 feet higher, but even though that's higher ground, it's a different county. That's Luzerne County, and I'm gonna try and hit that later today. Had a bunch of friends join us for the hike in, and I'm in a red oak, and this is the absolute northeast corner of Columbia County. We're in Ricketts Glen State Park, and I'm gonna try and bang out 3 climbs today. I think I'm heading down now. Had to send a picture to my wife. 1 down. Coming down. You can let go of the rope. See what I mean about like the rope, getting the rope in place is what takes a while. So last week when I was working, I cut my climbing rope, but the secondary tying point saved me. But then how do you get down? You know, like when you cut your climbing rope, what do you do? So what I'm doing right now would have really damaged the tree if we didn't put that friction saver in, right? It really would have, the friction would have ripped the bark off the tree and hurt it. So the friction saver really protects the tree. Back on the ground. All right, who's first to try it? Ladies and gentlemen, Danville FFA President Cat Rapp is the highest person to ever climb in Columbia County. All right, we're on our way out. We're passing this old fire tower. We're now back in Luzerne County, and I'm hiking to the second climb today. But I have some guests along the way that I want to introduce themselves and kind of just give a shout out for some things related to forestry that they think are important. So, guest number 1, who are you? Introduce yourself, please.
I am Shelby Chorba with Northern Tier Hardwood Association, and
give us one of the topics you'd like to see more attention, or a point you'd like to make.
My number 1 thing would be that trees store carbon, and when we use them as wood products, well, I should say that's when they store carbon, but trees are a good source for the carbon issue, I guess.
I like that. Like carbon sequestration.
Yes.
Excellent. Got a guest on this side. Stephanie, please give your whole explanation. Who are you?
Hi there, I'm Stephanie from Keystone Wood Products Association.
And your maybe number 1 topic today that you could give a shout out to, or a point you want to make?
Well, just that it's okay to harvest a tree. Forests give us so many wonderful benefits, and it is good to harvest trees in a sustainable manner because the wood product industry employs over 66,000 Pennsylvanians, so it's a big part of our economy.
So with wood products you can make things like guitars and skateboards and many other things that I enjoy in my life. All right, well, thanks for talking, and nice snowy walk out of the woods. Just a few words on the forest here. That the makeup has been really cool. So up on top of this plateau at Ricketts Glen State Park, my understanding was there was an ancient glacial lake, and approximately 12,000 years ago the climate was warming, and on a fairly rapid time scale this lake melted through the ice dam and started crashing and cutting down through a gorge, and it was cutting the gorge deeper. And so the Ricketts Glen waterfalls that many of us enjoy, that was made fairly recently. It's only about as old as Niagara Falls, approximately 12,000 years as I recall, and it was probably cut on a really short time scale as that giant lake of ice and water from this plateau gushed down through the gorge. So The forest up here, I was hoping for a few more relic species. Oh, I actually see some on our way out here. I remember my PSU professors talking about white birch as an example of a relic species. And what that means is this little population of white birch is probably, you know, kind of a descendant of the population that was here right as the glaciers were melting. Some of the first forests that would have moved in this part of Pennsylvania would have been what you and I see now in like northern Canada, parts of Alaska, the white birches, the tamarack trees, which we did see some today. And although I didn't see any balsam fir, you can find those in parts of Pennsylvania. And they're kind of like, I'm not implying that these specific trees are 12,000 years old, but simply that their DNA is, that they are all that's left of that ancient forest that moved in right after the glaciers. Just saw something cool up here on the plateau on our way out. Can you see the scar going up that tree? That is a lightning strike. Goes the whole way down the length of this oak. And pretty cool that the tree lived. I'd say 5 to 10 years ago. And a lot of hemlock up here. A lot of mountain laurel. Been seeing a good amount of what we think is yellow birch. It's a really good size oak.
You're meaty? Yeah.
And pretty unique forest up here. Am I recording? All right. Unfortunately, I'm not able to claim the highest climb in the history of Columbia County, because after I climbed a tree and came back down, Cat Rapp, FFA president at Danville, climbed up and went higher than I did. So Cat, what was the experience like?
It was very hard. I give Mr. Wagner credit because I have no upper body strength. So I climbed slower than he did, but I did get higher.
What was the forest like up there? Did it look different?
It was beautiful. It was a lot different than I would have expected. It was awesome.
Well, congratulations on being the highest climb in the history of Columbia County. All right, we are currently in Luzerne County, trying to squeeze in the second hike in the day. And this is some just beautiful country. We're kind of going in and out of a switch between Game Lands and Ricketts Glen State Park. So at the moment, I'm not sure which I'm on, but Game Lands 57. And as you can probably see behind me, we're on a railroad grade. And although I forget the exact name, it had Lehigh in the name. It was Lehigh and something Railroad. I'll try and get you the full name here a little bit later. Just a really, really unique forest. I'm seeing some red spruce. So a lot of the trees you see behind me are hemlock, but quite a few of those are actually red spruce. They're not hemlocks. And they are native. They're just what I was talking about earlier. They're a relic species. So they're kind of left over from when the glaciers receded. Some of the first trees to move in were red spruce, and they're here. We're in a whole bunch of them. Some of the black cherry in this area are just absolutely gorgeous. They're just huge. In fact, I think one of the trees we're going to climb here is a black cherry tree. It might be the tallest tree I ever climbed. So, about to hit the high point of Luzerne County. If you hear breaking over your head, Kent, just be aware of that, you know, like. Already looks different. This is gonna be a good one. Holy cow. I can see. I can see for miles and miles. Miles and... Boy, she's swaying. I'm to your burl.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, gypsy moth eggs under the up here.
Is it really?
Yep. Yeah, what do we call them?
Spongy moth.
Spongy moth, thank you. Spongy moth eggs, unfortunately. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Wow, I'm moving. I am moving. I think that's my home of Montour Ridge. That could be like New Berlin Mountain, but also could be over by Allenwood. Not really sure. And that just goes, my goodness, easily into like the northern tier counties that border New York. Bradford, probably Bradford, Tioga. Do you want waving or not waving?
No, anything is fine now. Yeah, just be yourself. That's good. Zoom in a little.
Thank you, tree. Hey, because I didn't get a friction saver in this one, I'd rather nobody else tries this one. I don't know if anybody wanted to climb, but I don't want to put extra wear on the tree.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, some gypsy moth eggs.
Spongy moth.
Spongy moth, golly. Old dog. New trick.
Yeah.
Boy, that slingshot was a game changer today.
Yeah. If you had to throw a lead weight up there 75 feet and hit the mark,
I've done that. I could do it. The misery is everything around you. Like every time you have to reset and get all the string gathered back here. All right, just wrapped up the second climb of the day in Luzerne County. And this is the Lehigh Valley Railroad bed that we are walking out on. Kind of an interesting name, considering that we are way up here on the Sullivan County, Luzerne County line near Ricketts Glen. But my understanding was this hauled coal and lumber out of Lopez and connected to the other main lines. I don't know if you can see some of the black cherry in this forest, but like, let me turn, just some gorgeous, gorgeous black cherry. I would say the thing I will remember most about this particular patch of woods today is the black cherry stand. I've just not seen too many places with black cherry like this. And the price of black cherry is actually quite low right now, which is not something that I'm used to. Usually black cherry was one of the highest dollar lumbers in Pennsylvania, so kind of interesting. And the dog is Sylva. That's Sylva. You gotta love that name. And we're on our way out to reconvene and head over to Sullivan County for the last climb of the day.
Have you ever heard of Sylva cast, the podcast?
So these are the red spruces that you're seeing up here. There's another red spruce behind Sylva. And there's some, they're mixed in with the hemlock, so from a distance it's kind of hard to differentiate, but it's pretty cool to see these native northern species. All right, as I wrap up the Luzerne County climb and hike out, I want to dedicate today's climb in Luzerne County to the 19 men that were killed in Lattimer, Pennsylvania in September 1897, which is in Luzerne County. It's called the Lattimer Massacre. So I'll dedicate my climb in Luzerne County to their memory. All right, riding in style with my friend Marc Lewis and Sylva. We are headed to the highest point in Sullivan County, and this will be the least amount of climbing, or least amount of hiking we've had to do for any of these projects, but very fortunate to be heading up on some private property, and we'll get you a look at what the land looks like. But Marc Lewis and I have been friends for, I calculated 19 years, Marc. Does that sound right?
I figured that, because it was before Luke was born.
Yeah, we met at the Sullivan County Fairgrounds, and I was talking about how I wanted to build a log raft. And that was 2004. And Marc said, well, I'd like to help with that log raft. And he made a bunch of drives down to Danville. And in 2004, we teamed up with some other friends and we built a white pine log raft on the Susquehanna River and brought it down the river. And we've been friends ever since.
Yep, I weaseled my way in. I told Van how adept I was at reading water and that I'd been canoeing for many years. And weaseled my way in. Plus, having a sawmill and knowing where we could get some logs if we needed some extra logs, thought that might help weasel into it too. So,
well,
what a great opportunity.
You mentioned the sawmill. That's here in Sullivan County, correct?
That's correct. Yep.
What's the name of the business?
Yeah, Dwight Lewis Lumber Company. We're in Hillsgrove, Pennsylvania, and then we have a distribution yard and millwork shop in Picture Rocks, Pennsylvania, called Lewis Lumber Products.
So Sullivan County is obviously still very much integrated in the world of forestry and lumber wood products. You know, from your point of view as someone who works in industry itself, you're like, what are some of the major issues and points you would like to see people aware of or talking about?
Mainly that, and Van preaches this all the time, that we need to cut trees in order to manage our forest. We're not out there trying to destroy the forest. We need to manage them for the future. We don't want to destroy the forest. We're better off having the trees growing than having a Walmart parking lot or something like that. So, and that we're the environmentalists. We're taking trees, we're making them into a product that's storing carbon for as long as that product lasts. So, trees really are the future of the world, really. What they're doing, they're taking in carbon dioxide, giving off oxygen, and helping with clean air, clean water. So if we can manage our forests, it's good for everyone.
I like that. Let's see what Sylva thinks.
She's tired. She's had a lot of walking today.
Wait till y'all see this view. It's unbelievable.
It is.
I'll show you when we get to the top.
The steamland flying should be right down.
All right, well, so we're up on top of the highest point in Sullivan County. Is it North Mountain, or does it have a better local name?
Not North Mountains.
All right, Kyle is kind enough to get us up here on top of the mountain, and kind of, what are we standing on? Is it game lands? Is it private property? Where is this?
Ray Shoemakers.
Okay, so thanks for getting us access to this. Gotta pick a tree to climb. I don't think I want to go up these spruces. I'd like to find something that we can get a good view in. So next stop will be the top of one of these trees. Got a cool abandoned building up here. That's pretty cool. That's a chimney. All right, I think the tree, I think I'm gonna go for that oak right about there. If you're willing to pull and make my life a little easier.
I didn't do this yet today. Boy, the sun's setting a lot lower now, or a lot later now. Yep. What did your dad do then? He worked for Walmart in Houston. Oh, did he? In the draft. Oh, did he? After that, had a position up and I was young. Had a place a little bit drafted,
Hey, heads up, I'm gonna be taking a limb off. Not the world's highest tree, but it's actually really pretty. Like the view really improved to the, am I looking north? Yeah. It's a shame it's hazy, because out this way, Danville and Montour Ridge would be visible if it wasn't so hazy today. That's due east?
That's due east, yep.
So where we're looking, kind of toward Jameson City, Central? Like what's?
Yeah, they're right at the lowest tower is where Grove is, and then just go 7 miles to right out there.
Okay, so this would go. I'm seeing like windmills way off there. Towanda? Noxon? Windmills way out that way.
You can see them windmills in the old mill and Dushan there. Oh, can you? Yeah. Go up to the building and look out that way. You can see them. Oh,
All right. This is a red oak, I believe. And not up terribly high, but still just beautiful up on North Mountain here in Sullivan County. Sun is setting. I'm gonna take in the view because I won't ever be back here again. I grew up, my dad used to take us to the Central Hotel in Jameson City. And I believe that's kind of that way. Red oak or black oak? What's your vote, guys?
I believe it's red oak.
That was my vote. I didn't see any chestnut oaks up here. Do you get me, or what do you call them, rock oak?
Yeah, there's some down through here. But, I thought there was more rock oak.
All right, well, I'll work my way down.
Well, by here, well, on out just a little bit, because I actually cut nothing on this bench that Aaron had marked. It was below here. Oh, and then it goes way out, way away, and it's probably 4 miles hauled from the back.
All right, so I've been talking to foresters about what they think's important in forestry, getting the word out. I've been talking to conservationists about what they think's important. You're a boots on the ground logger. Like, what do you wish more people in Pennsylvania knew about either logging or forestry or the woods in general? I mean,
well, I would guess you'd say where it has to be done, it has to be went through and then select cutted, or to get something out of what either died before it had died, or just what has to be prevent fires and everything else. It has to be done to maintain the proper woods. That would is my opinion.
Yeah.
Sure. And meanwhile, it's how you make a living, right? I mean, how many?
I'd part-time on the side,
Sure.
something to make myself feel like somebody, something that be accomplished and, you know, be proud of, I guess you would say.
Thank you for sharing that.